Welcome back to A Way Out, and we're finishing the game in this point.
What more can we do? The main bad guy is dead.
Well, again, we need to escape. So we're going full Great Escape with Steve McQueen.
Hey, look at that! A motorcycle sequence in the cinematic game that actually has challenge in it.
Or like, no, again, it's like all these different playstyles, but they actually work. Like, normally, in a normal game...
It reminds me a bit of Nier in a lot of ways too, because Nier also attempts a lot of different gameplay styles.
It reminds me instead, considering these different kind of sequences and styles, and also the gameplay that you do, it reminds me a bit of More Alone in the Dark 2008. That one tries to do a lot of different control scheme, different sequences, ride sequences in particular with cars. But the problem is that it becomes too bloated and it doesn't manage to handle them properly. Here, everything seems to be fine, even the shooting sequence before. Like, I'm surprised, I'm genuinely surprised by the studio managing to handle all these different
wasted
play styles and accompanying to the story with such little ease.
I think one of the most surprising things
unless you die during the challenge.
Well, that's Pedro's fault in this case.
Yeah.
You know, for comparison's sake, in David Cage's Beyond Two Souls, the motorcycle sequence was as automated as you could get. You would pretty much never get caught. Even if you drove into the sides of walls, it wouldn't hinder you. And you held, like, at most a button, and okay, sure, you could veer to the left or right.
And even if you failed the job, you still had plenty of chance to get the car.
Well, Joe, but that's very easily explained by the fact that, unlike David, Joseph Ferris actually likes video games.
Yeah. Again, I mean, this actually looks pretty cool, and it integrates into the actual
slow-mo! Yeah!
Whoa.
Oh, yeah!
Okay, that was awesome.
It's cool, shut up.
It is cool.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, there's a lot of variety to the pathways you can take on this motorcycle trail. That's actually pretty cool.
I think
that's actually a good point. Yeah, this particular motorcycle is actually it reminds me a lot of the Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy vehicle sections, because those also...
A lot of branching paths.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of those. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he took this from Uncharted 4.
See, now for a Sonic game, branching paths is one thing because, you know, that's a platformer, but this is a more cinematic game, which means that they have to take into account what may happen if a certain player goes a different avenue or whatnot. And it seems like they took all those variations. Oh my god, you can even go to the outer part of the beach! Now it's like crash team racing.
Yeah, I think the strength of this game is considering it on two different layers. If you want to have a legitimately interesting and intriguing story about a criminal story about, you know, these two escaping prison and finding their revenge against these mob boss. However, you can also watch you also consider just the gameplay style. Oh shit!
See, here's a great thing
You can
about
also consider the gameplay style and just have a lot of fun with so many different things.
See, here's the thing. This game manages to have good gameplay, but doesn't have to be... Well, actually, it manages to have good gameplay while being somewhat grounded in reality.
Alright, so, again...
One drives, one shoots.
Yes.
In Unicorn game.
Not just that, it's abundantly clear that Joseph Ferris played Uncharted, because this is just exactly what you'd see in an Uncharted scene.
But Pedro, that gun is clearly too offensive. We need to replace it with a slingshot. Come on.
Yeah, fortunately, no, there's no way Joseph would allow that.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Context Jova in the Secret of the Unicorn official video game Jova. For some reason, in this kind of chase sequence where Tintin and Caminado are on a sidecar, the one who has to shoot uses a slingshot for no reason.
Almost done.
Get on the chopper! Well, blade, yeah.
And there we go. Oh, yes, Joseph, I also played Uncharted 3. Anyway, alright.
See, now, here's a great thing about the gameplay here. I mean, okay, a lot of games try to be realistic, Here's the thing, though. Often when they try to go the full hog, they have it be only limitations, using that as an excuse for realism. Whereas this game, while being more realistic, there's limitations to it being realistic, but it also remembers, hey, there's a lot of choice to actual real life.
You guys are
It's like, if you're gonna have something be
Vincent, you're
realistic,
gonna have
then
to pay
also
me triple
include
for
the
this.
benefits of it being realistic, you know? Don't just try and go, oh, it's harder because it's realistic.
You're not gonna hear me
Like,
say
here
this
again,
often.
they take into
Okay,
the
so
different choices
You
that
too,
players
Leo.
will make,
Now
and that's
what?
what allows for gameplay.
so yeah, we've successfully escaped the island. So should be
know what?
smooth sailing from here. Oh, hold on.
I think I'm gonna write that letter to Carol.
There you go. He actually is gonna write that letter. Cool.
Hey, Emily. You have a pen and paper? Wait, now? Why not?
Well, might
a
as
long
well
way
take
home.
the inspiration.
You got
Yeah,
anything
it's a long
better?
way
How are you
home.
gonna-
Yeah, true.
Not really.
We could play I Spy.
All right then.
In the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, so should be smooth. Okay, so should be.
Yeah, this is the kind of the point where something really bad happens out of the
Oh god, is this
Ah,
game gonna
don't worry, Taylor. Should be smooth sailing from here. Come
No,
on.
God.
I'm not believing
No,
this.
guys, I'll play it for him. I spy with my little eye, something beginning with W.
Oh my god,
Water.
Is this game about to go? Is this game about to go crash bash on us?
Crash bash.
Wait, what?
You'll see what I mean if a twist I think occurs.
Well,
Between
let's.
Crash,
Well, let's
it's
see.
over the
Well,
deep.
let's just see.
How are we doing?
Yeah.
We should be landing in 10
between
minutes.
Crash Bandicoot Carnival, Jova.
No, crash bash.
Sleeping.
I'll explain
About
to you
time to
guys
wake 'em
later.
up.
Carnival's the Japanese.
About time to wake him up.
Are you okay, Vincent?
Yeah.
You sure?
No.
Yeah. I'm fine.
We got the revenge, but the movie's
Leo,
still
what?
going.
But not movie, John.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Again, they need to find a way to clear their names, I guess.
That's easier said than done.
Yeah, especially because we just committed mass murder.
Well,
so-
well, there is one particular thing that is still missing too. Remember when we were talking about the backstories and we saw Leo's story through a flashback and all that shit?
Yeah.
We have yet to see Vincent's flashback.
Let me guess, Vincent was lying.
Oh shit. Well, looks like we
Oh.
were caught.
Wait. Oh no, was Vincent an undercover agent?
No, come on.
Freeze! You're under arrest for the FBI, motherfucker.
Well, maybe the girl was.
No,
an undercover
the
agent.
pilot did it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Vincent
Honestly,
doesn't.
I kind of expected this a lot earlier on.
I don't know. Look at Vincent's face. He doesn't seem too surprised by this.
Well, neither is Leo.
Yeah, she did it.
Yeah, she did it.
I wouldn't be that surprised if I were them either, to be honest.
You really
Yeah.
can't trust
Everybody
anyone.
stand down.
Oh, Commissioner Gordon, hello.
God, that does look like him.
Come here often?
Wait.
Staring contest.
Quick, stare down, me and you. You make me sick. Oh, there's a diamond.
Thank you very much.
Here you go. Good job, Vincent.
There we go.
Oh, Vincent was the.
The fact that we never saw Vincent's flashback was one of your hints. And now,
Yeah.
but now we're going to see it. So you're probably wondering, why exactly is Vincent even doing all of this? You'll see.
Let me guess.
So, remember what happened when in Leo's flashback?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
They're linked, aren't they?
Oh, Vincent.
Vin-
He was the deal guy, wasn't he?
No, okay. Remember the guy who got killed during the deal by Harvey?
That was Vincent's partner.
That's
wasn't
that's
it?
Vincent's brother. Remember, he told us that Harvey killed his brother. He wasn't lying. But Vincent's brother was also an undercover cop. This was all an undercover operation. There you go. Now you see Vincent on the other side of the van.
So that means the talk he had with his wife wasn't because he was actually a wanted criminal.
Exactly, but because she
worried.
wasn't, she was worried about him putting his life on the line for the sake of getting the diamond so he could avenge his brother's death. There you go.
It's funny because I made the connection about how a lot of wives or, how a lot of spouses have to put up with loved ones being, putting their lives on the line.
Exactly.
I was closer than I thought.
So there you go. Remember, what Vincent told Leo was, "Oh, I have a boring normal job, but then eventually everything went to hell. My brother got killed by Harvey."
And you know what?
He was telling the truth. He just didn't mention that job was an undercover cop.
And you know what? The whole fact that the police department wasn't let in on it to the point where they thought he was a wanted criminal, that is something that does happen in real life. You'd be surprised how efficient police can be with their sting or undercover operations. So that means that Vincent was playing 4D chess here. Like, every police station that went after Vincent didn't know about it, except these guys did. And if anyone was in on it, well...
You're about to see. You're about to see. There you go. See, this is the part where his brother gets killed, and there you go. So there you go. No, remember, at this point in time, yeah, Leo is unconscious, so obviously Leo never saw any of this. There you go.
Vincent must have seen, of course.
There you go.
Well, what do you know? There really is no such thing as coincidence in this world.
Somebody get a damn ambulance!
So yeah, Vincent's brother was indeed killed by Harvey, just not in the way you thought.
I'm sorry, please.
Well,
Somebody
And
call
poor
an
Leo.
ambulance
Poor
now!
Leo
That's why,
was kind of...
that's why Vincent did this. You're about to see anyway, so listen here. So yeah, they were trying to interrogate Leo, and Leo wouldn't say anything.
Because it was
Where's
personal for
Harvey?
Leo.
Where's the Black Orlov?
And he never met
What, he
Vincent.
deaf?
Because Vincent was behind the one-way glass, I'm guessing.
You think you're funny, don't you?
Very good, Jova.
What, you think you
I
just
feel
go
like
and
I've
sell
seen
it
this
in
kind
a
of
street
plot
corner?
twist,
What,
but
you
this feels
stupid?
fresh enough to the point where I'm literally caught off guard. And
It works.
well
It
done.
works exceptionally well because, well, let's think about this from a co-op perspective. Like, imagine if you're playing this with a complete stranger online. How do you think the guy playing Leo will feel? Like I just got betrayed by this stranger that I've never met, and I've been playing this entire game with.
And I guess since you technically can play it on online co-op, you can feel like
There you go.
that.
Listen
Like,
here. Listen here.
There's only one option now.
I'll get someone on it.
No.
James, if you want Harvey and the Black Orlov, this is the only way. Just put me in
Oh
a
my
cell
god,
next
he had a
to him.
mustache back then.
You're too close to this, Vincent.
Well, remember, Joe, but this is very shortly
Gary was
very
my
shortly
brother.
before the beginning of the game.
My flesh and blood.
It didn't take that long.
And he's dead because
So
of me.
Vincent pretty much hit
I
the
put him in that
jackpot. Let's
situation.
see, he made a friend,
I need
he
to
got
do
to
this,
kill the guy
and
who
you know
got
it.
his brother killed, and he got
Just
the
make it
police
happen,
back.
James.
Well,
in Gavin.
that's true, Jova, but I don't think Leo is going to see it that way.
Which brings
You're
me
under
back
arrest.
to my...
You're under arrest, Leo.
Okay,
It's over.
so this is where I went back to it. Crash Bash. Okay,
Here's a little bit. Me and my brother, when we were playing this entire climax, we were completely silent while this was going on. Can you imagine how conflicted both me and my brother were at this point? There you
So
go.
I gotta wonder, how does this work out? Like, are the players still supposed to work together, or are you
No,
actually...
I'm trying to convince Leo to look, just surrender. It's no use, but Leo refuses.
I'm guessing it depends on what the
You don't
player
have to
playing
do
as
this.
Leo decides.
No. There's no. This particular climax is entirely scripted. There's no branching paths in this one. Which at this point it wouldn't make any sense anyway, because at this point this is like the climax of the story. We kind of need to go full
Wait,
forward.
Oh, so this is all cutscene.
No, it wasn't. That part was interactable.
But I mean, you can't screw it up, or it happens as it happens.
Yeah.
Alright. Basically, okay, so when I mentioned if I was going to wonder this was Crash Bash, let me just explain. See, the way Crash Bash works with the story mode is that you can choose to either have two characters from the hero side or two characters from the bad guy's side. However, if you
this is
decide to do a
insane.
campaign where you have a character from the good side and the bad side, then after you defeat the final boss, you then have to fight each other. That's right, you turn on your own teammate to decide whether or not good or evil wins. That's why I was wondering if this was going to be a Crash Bash where you have to turn against each other.
It also works in terms of gameplay, Joe, because let's face it, of all the co-op mechanics that we've done so far, there's only one we haven't tried so far: co-op competition. Has it?
Yeah. So what do you know? I called it twice.
Take it, go.
So what do you know? I called it twice, yet I'm still pleasantly surprised.
No,
Well
Debs,
done.
remember, Vincent being the way he is, he's trying diplomacy. He's trying to talk Leo back to his senses, but, well,
It's like when Trevor gets betrayed in GTA 5.
Oh snap!
I won't be surprised, Debs, if, I mean, Joseph Harris is exactly the kind of guy who would love a game like GTA, so yeah, I wouldn't be
It
surprised
is
if he's
kind
a
of a
fan.
shame that from what you said, though, there can't be alternate endings to build.
There are, actually. There are,
Oh, there are.
there are two different endings, but I will explain their nature when it becomes
They're
relevant.
underwater? Yes?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so Leo, maybe we should work together one last time for old time's sake.
Nah, they'll probably want to drown each other.
Probably.
Leo may want to drown Vincent, but I think Vincent truly does care for Leo.
he does, it's just that, well, at the end of the day, it's his
had a
duty.
job to do.
Yeah, job to do. Not to mention, remember, his brother, it was, the primary reason for him to go undercover for the diamond was to avenge his brother's death. Alright, so now Leo is escaping in a boat, while I, as Vincent, will try to stop him.
Oh, and
This is a very elaborate undercover mission.
oh, and look at that, the pilots. Wait, is that the pilot?
Yeah, the pilot is Emily. Emily
He
is...
was also an undercover.
Yes,
Yeah.
Emily was also an undercover cop, yes.
So
Okay,
now,
okay, okay.
so now it's
Oh,
Pedro's job to try and kill his brother.
Yes, well, remember, Jova, it was Vincent who recommended Emily to help us get to the island, remember?
You know what I just realized? This is like a Mario Party game now. You can turn against your allies now, and you're trying to snipe him.
So there you go. Basically,
What in Mario
so yeah,
Party?
basically it's like this. My brother, of course, has to try to, survive as much as he can, whereas I'm trying to kill him. Whoever ends up, okay, it depends on that. If my brother gets to the end of the line, at the end of this particular level first, the cutscene will end. If I do, basically it's a contest of who gets to finish off this sequence first, in a way. The ending will still be the same. But whoever, basically, if you were playing as Leo, see if you can find the end of the level before getting shot. Or if you're playing as Vincent, try to shoot him before he gets to the end of the level.
Let me guess.
So again,
Depending on
co-op competition in a way.
Let me guess. Depending on who wins this section, the winner will get an advantage in the next stage.
Very good, Jova. You're on a roll.
Yeah.
Cool slow-mo.
I gotta say, I mean, this is incredibly intuitive for a story-driven game because, again...
Okay,
once in a
TO, get ready. 3, 2, 1, click.
I think the exciting thing about this is that normally when you get to a story-driven game, that's not to say that story-driven games are bad, but more often than not, when a story-driven game is story-driven, it often, keeps set to just one path, you don't see a lot of alternate endings unless it's something like BioShock 2. But then again, that's BioShock 2, and that's more so in the ending. Like, even Metal Gear Solid 4, for as amazing as it is, doesn't have this amount of variation.
There you go.
This is
I won.
kind of amazing.
Bang.
Alright. So I guess now we should go in and chase him by foot.
So let me guess, if he were to reach it to the end, then he'd be able to get inside, and that would allow him to have the home field advantage. Or are we actually going to see what would happen if he did win that section in another extras part?
Let's just say, Jova, it will. From this point on is where that becomes very apparent in terms of the damage. Anyway, all right, let's go. Well, crap.
Oh, I think I get it. If he were to get to the end, then Vincent would have to get off the helicopter.
That too,
Oh,
yeah.
never mind.
All right, I guess now it's. Okay. Yeah. Let's. Oh yeah. Let's try and see if we can hunt him down. There we go.
2 against 1.
Well. Remember, Jova, this is a police operation, so we kind of have to use strength by numbers to our advantage.
Oh wait, unless Leo knocks her out.
At the end of the day, the truth of the matter is that Leo is a criminal. Is a criminal that we care about. Is a criminal that we care about. Yes, but he's still a criminal.
It is really bittersweet in that regard, though. But
Oh, here we go.
Oh! Wow, I'm on a roll.
Don't do
I mean, he didn't
anything
knock her
stupid.
out, but he disarmed her.
Just go.
Being
Although if he
a
does kill her-
thief with honor, he doesn't want to hurt
Can't do
Emily.
that.
Don't fucking push it. This
Although
is
if
between
he
me
does
and
kill her,
Vincent.
then there's no going
Now get the
back.
hell out.
Yeah.
That's the
Get
thing,
out.
actually. Leo has, from what we've seen, never killed anyone.
No, he doesn't. No, he only steals. He never actually kills.
However, if he does kill, then that's the point of no return.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Well, to be fair, Jova, we committed mass murder on the island anyway.
Listen here.
Well, Tio, that was part of police
I know you're
business.
disappointed,
Here we go. Listen.
but Harvey killed my brother. I had no choice. I can't fucking believe this. I'll talk to the captain.
me neither.
We'll reduce your sentence. My sentence? You're a dead man, you piece of shit. What about your son, Alex? Shut the fuck up. Don't you mention his name. You don't get to mention his name. You hear that, you piece of shit? You're a dead man.
Yeah, I can see why Leo's insulted though. Like,
Welcome
he
to the
was kind
final
of-
boss of A Way Out. Your very own co-op partner.
Oh snap!
Oh.
Whoever lives will get the ending.
Oh, so we do have to kill one of
There are
the
two
other-
endings, Shiroi, depending on who survives this boss battle.
Oh shit!
God, the music
This
could not.
hurts. Like this
Why?
actually
Yeah.
I don't know.
Everything is connected.
I feel GTA 5 had a better idea with making a possible third option when everybody leaves.
There you are, you little
And,
is kinda-
well, the thing is, too, in this particular contest, it wouldn't really make, there wouldn't be no real possible scenario for the both of them to get out of this.
Yeah, Pedro kind of has a point, Tio. GTA 5 has the third option because there were free characters.
Yeah.
Like, so here's the thing.
This game only has 2.
Like, okay, to put it into perspective, Jack and Trevor were pretty much the two opposite sides of the spectrum who would never be able to see reason without the middleman. That's where Frank comes into play.
Yeah.
These two are in a similar condition. Vincent does not want to kill Leo, but Leo is one who is very trigger happy and does not take betrayal kindly.
Yeah, he feels betrayed, so obviously, yeah.
Like, let's put this into perspective. Leo is in jail because a man conned him, Harvey. So now he makes a friend who he trusts with his very life, only to find out that that friend was part of the system that got him in there. And okay, yeah, Vincent said he'll try to get a sentence reduced.
Yeah, that
Well,
like
let's
it's
say
like
no.
what Leo said. These words are empty considering the situation.
What I love about it as
He
well
has
is that
no reason to trust
this
him
is
at
a
that point, even
this
if
is a
he
game.
isn't lying.
Sorry.
No, that was it.
This is a game, like what I love about this game, this is where the game officially reaches its brilliant state to me, because the game did a fantastic job in using both its cutscenes and its co-op mechanics to really get us immersed into the characters and the story, because the two players playing this game are just as conflicted as the two characters in this scene. And that,
Now, level 2.
Wow! Oh wow, they even changed areas too? Holy cow!
yes, they do. Anyway, yeah, like I said, again, it was, remember, for about like 10 hours or however long you spend in this game, you and your co-op partner have been collaborating and bonding throughout this entire time. And now, thanks to all of the bonding time that you and your co-op partner had, you and your co-op partner are just as conflicted as the two characters in the story. This is a case of the story and the gameplay are working in perfect unison and putting the player into the minds of the characters they're playing as. Again, this is a game that brilliantly, if you ask me, uses its gameplay as a powerful tool for storytelling, because yes, this story could have been told in a movie or TV show, but it wouldn't have been nowhere near as powerful if it was non-interactive, because the interactivity of it is what makes it even better in my eyes, because we ourselves are just as conflicted as the characters on screen. And
A good way to sum it up like this. It's one thing to watch someone shoot someone. It's another thing when you yourself have to pull the trigger, metaphorically speaking.
To be
Exactly.
fair, also, Joe, this is kind of a send-off to all. Remember, the director practically said in all occasions that this is a send-off. Well, not a send-off, but a love letter to the classic couch co-op. And what does that also mean? All those matches in Halo 2. Believe me, those were actually a thing.
of course.
Time shooting each other in
This
Spartan
game,
Dog.
not just this
And
is the
this situation
sorry.
is pretty much what happens in that multiplayer.
It brings up a lot of that too. This is the ultimate co-op game, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean,
Practically every
In terms of
co-op,
story-driven stuff,
not just that,
definitely
Shiroi.
up there.
not just that, Shiroi. In terms of gameplay, this game has I can't think of any game co-op mechanic that this game has not incorporated in some way. There's chase scenes, there's shooting, there's mini games, there's everything. Like practically every single co-op thing that can be done, and trust me, you'll even see even a bit more in the extras part that I have after this.
I
And there
think
you go.
another cool thing is like, well, at this point in the stage also, it can rely on the players. Like, wait, oh my god.
Basically,
Really?
I'm winning, and since I'm winning, we
It's
get...
going to come to a fist fight.
Basically, the cutscenes in between the beginning of the fight and the end of it also change according to who's winning.
It's over.
So since I'm the one who damaged Leo, obviously we get a cutscene where we have this.
Get up.
Get up, Leo. Come on, it's over. Come on, just surrender, and I don't have to kill you. Come on.
Your health bar still has some left.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Nope.
More slow-mo.
You know,
Oh, we're gonna have a fight in the rain next Jesus Christ.
Shira, you know what this game should have been called?
What?
Oh, way.
Actually, there is a game that it's just called with so many letters.
It also works in a lot of ways because remember the game even threw a lot of cool little subtle hints into it. In like Jova said, those cutscenes involving Vincent and his wife, where like, why are you doing this? Just come back home. You know.
And now this explains
and
why
now-
Vincent wasn't so keen on writing that letter. He didn't need to as soon as the mission was done.
Exactly. Very good, Jova.
Also, not only that, the
Well,
cop is
here's the thing.
most level-headed of the two.
Well, Joe, here's the thing. He still wrote the letter. It's just that, I mean, despite the reason being different than we thought, his wife was still mad at him. So technically, the letter is still useful for some reason. Sorry about that. That was a little edit that I had to make. So yeah, here's another thing. This is, like Jova said, this is come down to a fist fight. Good job, Jova. This is how it is. Depending,
We're going full Metal Gear on this.
this also depends on the life bar. That life bar is not just there for the sake of who wins or who loses, by the way. When we get to this final phase of the fight, whoever has more HP will be much more. For example, right now, my brother is having a very hard time punching me because Leo right now is severely wounded. So he notice how Leo's charging meter for the punch, and there we go. Now we even see the.
Oh God! Just play the flashback while you're at it. Okay.
Over
I didn't know
the rain and music and
I didn't know this game was a remake of
dream
Apollo.
after this.
Okay.
You know,
It really is
do all of this, aren't
amazing.
we?
It really is amazing. In this fight, every bit of gameplay matters. Like, holy cow.
Yep.
Like, I mean, right down to the advantage. Like,
Keep in mind, this is an indie game, and it's the game's first studio.
Wait.
Wait, this is the studio's first game.
Yes, this is.
I don't
Okay,
remember.
okay. Technically, Joseph Ferris made one game before this, Shiroi, but it was with a different studio.
Okay.
But as far as the studio itself, is Light is concerned, this particular studio, this is their first game.
What a great first impression.
I mean, it's the perfect tone set up, and I hate to say it, this may be a case where the fact that there is no golden ending where everyone survives. Okay.
I don't know,
okay.
Jova. More in a sense of fuckery tone, considering the rest of the game has been very light-hearted in that way. It would have been a situation where both say, fuck this shit.
Joe, Teo, you yourself noticed. Remember when we were at the movie theater? The calm before the storm.
Oh my God.
There you go.
They were telling you for the whole time.
Not just that, Shiroi. Like I said, I myself noticed, it's a bit weird. They didn't show a flashback for Vincent's backstory.
Oh, really, Gabe? You're gonna have us do this now?
Yes, okay.
Gonna get to the machine gun first.
Very good, Dwebs. That's exactly what we're going to do. And once again, whoever has more HP will have a much easier time. And
Come on, brother, tap faster.
Now
Well, at least the brother has the advantage of the fact that Pedro really sucks at tapping faster. So.
True, but his HP is way too low for him to. And there we go.
Oh well.
All right, so our ending will be the Vincent ending.
God.
Aim.
I don't want to do this, but okay.
There you go.
You know what this means, Pedro? You're shooting
Well, you
your
could
own-
have just shot him in the legs.
Well, remember, Teo, even though this was done in slow motion for the sake of the gameplay, he had only a split second to do it. He didn't have. He didn't really have.
And Vince was kind of beaten up himself. He couldn't concentrate the best.
There's that too, yeah. It's not exactly. It's not in the heat of the moment. It's not exactly easy. But here you go.
You know
And now here's here's another great one. This is such an amazing scene. Just watch this.
Huh, look at that. Someone can't exactly speak clearly while they're dying.
Hold.
Oh, God, I felt that piano.
Pretentious piano.
And as he held his hand as he was dying.
Despite everything, they still respect each other.
No words exchanged, but everything else just says it.
Who needs
It's a bit odd though. It's a bit odd though. He was yelling at him, saying, "Fuck you! You don't deserve to know my son's name."
That's what
Yeah,
happened
because
in the
he
moment.
was angry.
Dreams, three words, dignity in death.
Dignity in death,
Yeah.
yes. No, despite
And
him
also
being...
you
Leo's incredibly
Right.
disappointed with Vincent, of course, in that regard, but he still respects him as a person, respects him despite everything, because he got to know him despite...
Well, what do you
everything.
So what happens in the other ending then?
we'll see.
Don't worry, Jules, you'll see it in the extras part.
Well,
Oh, wait, there's still more to this part? Holy cow.
I guess we need a where is Vincent now episode.
Not to mention, we kind of need to bring up the news to someone, don't we?
Oh.
This just likes really twisting that knife, doesn't it?
I think the masterful thing about this is like, here I was wondering, isn't there supposed to be some feeling of emptiness with the vengeance? But no, Vincent got what he wanted. But the thing is that what he lost was something he never expected.
Yeah.
Friendship from a criminal, of all things.
Yeah.
Can I come in?
Sure.
And you know what, this is... you know what?
Hi.
Betrayed your husband and now he's dead.
Do they know?
Then he's about to tell him, Jova.
Linda.
Yeah.
We need to talk.
Yeah, you might want to get Alex away from here, maybe. At least for now.
I wonder, how much do
Alex,
they know? Do they know Leo's dead?
No.
He's about to tell them.
He's about to tell
Oh,
them.
God. I was about to wonder if they already knew, but they don't know
Also-
he's the one who shot him.
Also, of course, he has to have a stereotypical porn stash. Like, that's supposed to be his normal
70s
haircut.
tail.
It's
I
about
know,
Leo.
but it was better with the complete set.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
and we don't hear his words.
We don't really need to do it. Like the music and the overall visuals that we will see right after it say everything.
Look at the pretty roulette.
Look at the
It's
pretty
what?
caravan.
It's gonna be one thing to
There you
tell
go.
her that her husband is dead, but is he gonna tell her that he's the one who did it?
We never actually know if he did point to himself. Maybe he did say, but regardless, the fact Linda still yeah.
Peace.
This is one of those cases where I'm
I'm
actually okay
guessing
with them
Vincent
leaving.
wants, considering the perspective, probably wants to integrate both her and the son in like a special program tied to,
Maybe makes it so that
where-
they're set.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, I'm guessing he probably told her the extra detail.
Yeah. Also, Alex.
Alex is the kid's brother.
That's his name, is his son.
Yeah.
Alright.
Hey, sport, we played basketball with each other. Oh, God, this
Mom?
is... I can't even begin to say about how awkward this is.
It's a little more than awkward.
Again, I gotta say, I love how I did not see this coming, because I was thinking
Never-
Vincent is his life or whatnot, but no, he gets his life. He
Never. I'm guessing. I'm guessing never has Vincent been very very hesitant about doing his job.
I mean, I think what's amazing is like, well, from Vincent's perspective, this was him doing his job in a way that allowed him to get vengeance, which makes it that the very last place he expected to feel a friendly bond with was the criminal, someone
Yeah.
who deserves to be in jail, someone who, as far as he knows, is a terrible person.
Like
But
I s-
he made the one mistake you make when you do these stinger operations.
Yeah,
he
at the
got
end-
in close with the criminal.
Like I said, for as much as we like Leo, he's a likable character. He's still a criminal at the end of the day. So.
And who knows? Maybe Vincent could have talked to Dio. Maybe.
So there you go.
but Leo
Now-
just was not that kind of character to go down like that.
So there you go. Now Vincent finally gets to say to there, I'm done.
Hey, Carol.
There you go.
Is he gonna retire, or is he just gonna maybe take a desk job?
The game's about to answer you, Jova.
Here.
He gave him a letter.
Yeah. And
What's this?
It's my resignation from the Bureau.
There you go,
Yeah,
Joe.
Oh
he's
snap!
had
Oh
enough
snap! Oh
of
snap!
this
He was
channel.
working for the FBI. He was way up there.
Please. Just give me one more chance.
I'll take a damn desk job.
Julie.
It's a beautiful name.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
So I was wrong. He wasn't
She's got your
guaranteed a
eyes,
happy
too.
ending.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I gotta guess about this a bit more. Again, here I was thinking that he was putting everything on the line simply for vengeance, and in a way he was, but holy cow, was it to a deeper extent.
He was, but that was only half of it.
Like, here's the thing. The game leads us to believe that none of this was Vincent's choice. But no, it turns out this was all his choice, like, even beyond supposedly.
It's just a choice he damn well regrets.
Remember, Jova, the first phone call between Vincent and his wife. Listen, I have to do this. Harvey killed my brother. See? So that's what he was talking about. I have to do this.
They were saying it without saying it.
Yeah, so the game intentionally kept their conversations somewhat ambiguous so that you would think otherwise.
It's not even
now-
a case. It's not even a case of the media being oversaturated with the cliche. It's just they really strung us along perfectly. Like they sell us on this incredibly well-crafted narrative, but when they do pull the rug out from under us, it's in a way that actually does feel believable.
Yeah,
So
it's
now,
a
are we
plot
gonna get-
twist that none of us saw coming, but makes 100% sense.
Like,
So are we gonna get a way out too now, where the wife is trying to kill?
Well, Joseph Ferris has already said that he's working on a new game, but I seriously doubt that he's going to make a sequel to this. This game.
Twitch is probably joking, but seriously speaking, I don't think this needs a sequel or anything.
Or
Not only
like
that, but
a
there are
spiritual
also-
sequel, a game with similar mechanics, with similar idea, but with just a different story.
not
Possibly.
only that, but there are alternate endings. That would mean that they'd have to make one of them.
Maybe I can help. Maybe make a way.
Basically,
out.
Shiroi, Joseph Ferris' first game, because this is technically his second game, but basically he made his game in a certain other studio, but after making that game, he quit that studio and founded his own studio that made this game. His previous game, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, is also a co-op game of sorts that involves two characters cooperating. So this is kind of his shtick when it comes to games. The difference is that Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons was just a one-player game where the players controlling both characters. Now, when it comes to this game, he wanted to take that concept to the next level. Obviously, an actual proper co-op game. So that was a way out.
Okay.
Can I go first?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
I don't normally do this, but I'm wondering if I should save my final thoughts for after we see the alternate ending and how it goes.
Feel free, I guess. Go ahead.
I'll
Go
go
ahead.
first
Go ahead,
then.
Dibs.
From what I've played, from what I've seen of this game, and from what I've played of it with Pedro, I wouldn't consider this game unique because there's been plenty of games that have done this kind of. I've played like the PS2 exclusive multiplayer expansion of Half-Life where you do this kind of thing, but in terms of quality, I think this one did it pretty well too.
This is a game that was clearly made as a. This is a passion project with a vision. Nothing about this game is catering to the widest audience. It feels like just Joseph Ferris' pure raw vision, untainted by EA.
Well, Pedro, you know what happens when people F with his vision.
Exactly.
I have a very specific vision.
Go ahead, let's continue.
But I mean, one thing I'm not exactly a huge fan of is the music. It was just kind of there. But everything else I really enjoyed. One favorite part I really enjoyed is how fun the multiplayer is. Although I do kind of wish that there was a single player one where you can switch characters or something. But I guess that would kind of go against.
No, the entire.
We're considering a lot of the co-op is done at the same time, so it's
Not just that, Dibs. The entire story hinges on the co-op. The co-op is essential to the storytelling. It wouldn't work nearly as well in that regard. But go ahead.
Alright, no, that's it. I'm pretty much done.
Go ahead, Shiroi. What do you think?
This was awesome. Like, it's not it's got nothing to do with being unique. I think a better way to put it is it takes a lot of things that have been done before, but implements them in a way that feels fresh. So you don't feel like you've done this once, you've done this 100 times. It's actually a lot of fun, and I actually think there's something for everyone with this.
Yeah.
So the music I liked. I don't really remember a whole lot of it, but it's the kind of music that works well for this kind of story. I like watching a lot of cop shows and such, both fictional and based on real life. So this is the kind of soundtrack I'm used to hearing. So it's kind of something I just don't think about, but it is good for what it is. I'm surprised that I'm surprised that I like this, honestly, because this isn't the type of thing I normally go for, but this was great. I love the characters. Like, everyone is just fun, really, and like the sequences are great. The as I just said, the plot twist makes complete sense, but none of us would have seen it coming, or at least most of us wouldn't have.
Well, Jova did, but yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Jova's generally good at calling things, though, anyway, so...
And, that's an amazing thing. I called a lot of this stuff, and yet I was still shocked.
You were still shocked, yeah.
Well, I did say it would be shocking at the end of the previous part, didn't I?
You were not kidding. I'll go over to my final thoughts.
And considering that the part we had just before this was actually a big laugh for the most part, this was a definite mood shift.
Yeah.
The calm before the storm.
The ironic thing. Beating the guy you think is the true mastermind was the calm before the storm. And that involved us having to storm a fortress with machine guns and everything.
Yep. And we ended up in a literal storm, fighting our friend, basically. And, like, again, as I said, the whole reveal of who your final boss actually was, that actually legitimately hurt. Like, seriously. But yeah, this is I can see why this is praised as it was and why it did so well, because I mean, it's a very short game, but that probably works well with its that probably works to its advantage considering the type of story it does.
Not just that, Shiro. You know what I love to do with this game? Play it with people who never played it. Just so I could, because as Alice played this game.
No, she hasn't.
Here's what you do: get this game on the PS4 or PC, whatever, and here. I want you to play this game with me. Why? You'll see. Like, because my favorite thing to do ever since this game came out is to look. Have you played A Way Out? No. Oh, play this game with me, please. I beg you, play this just so I can see the reaction to everything, because
my brother would probably like this too, so I could play it with him too.
Go ahead.
Can you imagine the amount of people whose hearts you'll be able to break if this gets ported to the Switch? You can take the heartbreak on the go.
Yeah,
play with anyone.
That's the thing that I love to do is like watch their reaction to everything that goes on. Because me and my brother, when we were playing this, we were in complete silence while everything was going on. Like, we were just
starting from the point where it was the betrayal, or after the betrayal?
Yes, from the moment the betrayal is revealed, me and my brother were really shocked, and we just kind of went with it, and we were just silent playing it. And we just...
Pedro, when you get down to it, you had to shoot and kill your own brother at the end.
Well, Jova, it's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it.
Totally.
But that's a thing. But that's a thing. Like, well, it brings me back to when I mistook this game for A Tale of Two Brothers. It's like, well, Vincent and Leo grow together so much that they might as well be brothers when the big betrayal comes up, because
that's why the betrayal hurts so much.
Anyway, continue with final thoughts.
It's like, I know not everyone liked it, but it's like this. Well, obvious. That one, like the plot twist with Emmy in Azran Legacy, I was not happy. So, but I remember I'm almost done, by the way. Sorry, I
No,
usually
go
don't
ahead.
talk this much with these.
Oh, there's a
I
lot to
remember
talk
the
about.
initial reveal of it, and it seemed interesting because the main focus was the co-op. But I honestly didn't think I'd like it as much as I do. But this is probably one of the best games of this year, in my opinion. Honestly, this is
Agreed.
great. And that's pretty much it. Just all around awesome, and I can't wait to see what this same team comes up with in the future.
Same. Go ahead, too.
No, okay, no, that's the thing. This game is a special thing. Like, first of all, props to Joseph Ferris for managing to make this, having the mentality to do this, and in some kind of sorcery, managing to convince EA to give him a budget to do this kind of thing, and not suffering consequences when he openly insulted them at the Game Awards. Whatever black magic or cocaine is using that man, I need some.
Like, holy cow.
Anyway, as for the game itself, pretty much I mentioned this throughout the entirety of the game. Like, there's so much variety in terms of the stuff that you can do, stuff that even for a console like this, I couldn't even dream or like imagine the perspective of trying to do. Even the stupid shit that you normally wouldn't think about, like when you get the guns and you have a pool mini game, because why not? You need to test the guns, so might as well. It's so easy to implement. It's so ingenious simplicity.
Oh, well, it's interesting you say that too. One thing that me and my brother did miss in our first playthrough, but we'll show in the extras part. You know what you can also do in this game? You can play Connect 4.
What?
Wait. Hold on. Actually, Pedro, I believe you did show that.
I did?
Yeah, I believe you did show that. It was either
Basically,
at the hospital
yeah.
or
Basically,
it was,
not in the first playthrough. It's because me and my brother missed the Connect 4 mini game in the hospital sequence. But fortunately, we had the extras part for that because we can also play Connect 4 in this game, as you'll see in the extras part.
There's just so much life in this world, despite the fact that it's practically barren a lot of the time.
Yeah.
They mask it.
There's so much to see and do, like even in the background.
So much to see.
This is a team that's because Shiroid, Joseph and his team, they did the best with what they had. They squeezed every single penny of the budget they were given and put in as much as they could.
From EA, mind you, the studio that nowadays is more infamous for killing franchises and studios by not giving them a single penny. So
and by having barren campaign modes, like holy cow!
And this, not even. And when it comes to European doing stuff, this is pretty unique. Joseph is Lebanese, a country that you wouldn't even think will produce a game. It's not like say most European games come from either France, a small bit of Italy, a bunch of Germany, and recently Poland with The Witcher.
I'm guessing that's why he moved to America.
Yeah, I guess he really did had a dream that he wanted to make come true, and mission accomplished, I guess.
Yeah.
That being said,
keep going, Teo.
I'm not sure how to talk about the twist without, the twist and the fan thing without sounding biased, because I don't know, it feels too sudden to me. I know it's a natural conclusion, but something about it just ticks me wrong. It's maybe the fact that the player was like... It kind of reminds me to me a bit of the fact that when Shelby is revealed to be the origami killer and the player was kept hidden without knowing all the time. And we even get the sequence where it contradicts with the previous gameplay bit. It doesn't happen here, not as far as I recall anyway. But I kind of get the same feeling of player betrayal. In that kind of way.
Yeah.
I think I can answer that for you, too.
Hold on.
Hang on, let
for
him finish.
example,
sorry.
If you are the Vincent, obviously not talking about you player, but in general, if you are the Vincent player and you played the game up until this point with a specific mind, if I was the Vincent player up until that point, I would have honestly threw the controller because I would have agreed with Leo, honestly.
I was actually about to say that while the fight was going on, it's like, well, that fight is so hard.
Keep in mind, the mentality-wise and everything,
up.
I would have more stand with Vincent through the entire game, more methodical, more thinking about doing stuff, more elaborate, more artistic, in that kind of way, instead of Leo just charging and gas blazing for everything.
Well, I think that's part of the art of the game. It's like, well, I mean, you can actually
it's even for the title. The title is called A Way Out, but at the end, there is none. Like, it's paradoxical and conflicting.
Has been used to describe, that.
It's one of those things too, where to me is that the problem with the heavy rain twist is that it directly contradicted what
No, that's what I say. It lies to the player, while in this case it doesn't. It just keeps it hidden. I know that. But it's the thing. Like, I know on an objective point of view it makes sense, and that's again a natural conclusion. That's the emotional the emotional value. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't move myself selfishly for I guess appreciating as I should.
You just wanted both of them to live, didn't you?
Yes,
yeah.
Again. No, again, it's like I said, go full fuck this shit and, like, find another way, just like in GTA 5. I know it's not the same situation, I just thought there should have been a way out.
Theo, I think what this is a sign of, that Joseph really got you to love these characters.
Why not just have an ending where they both die?
Well, here's the thing, Dwebs. Keep in mind, this game is an indie game that was received a budget. I mean, maybe for all we know, Joseph might have wanted to have a third ending, but he couldn't.
Without telling too much spoiler what I'm about to say, there is an Activision game called Singularity. Good stuff. I'll probably record it one day or another. It's an FPS, not straightforward, but the way it's presented is ending. You get three choices: shoot a person, shoot person B, or shoot both. I think also what we've said could have also potentially be a good alternative. Both of them die, going full tragedy, and have no survivors. I'm guessing the dual choice made more sense for the sake of having
a co-op winner.
Not just that, also the compensation of what happens to the other, who has to tell the widow of dead. Obviously, if both of them killed, we would have a literal who telling this to both widows, so it wouldn't have the same impact, I guess, of having the actual winning character having to tell the widow and receiving her wrath.
That's actually a good point. I'll bring that up in my final thoughts after you.
But don't let my BS on the ending cloud your judgment. I honestly think this is still one of the best games of the year, honestly. And coming from EA of all people, in this particular climate where EA has done anything wrong that is possible, it truly is a miracle. It really is. And the fact that Joseph still wants to keep his partnership with EA, it's amazing. Despite everything that happened, the fact that he has insulted, but he still has the humanity to still be embraced with such an economical monster.
Tails, someone has to make that. Someone has to make that company, produce something good.
I honestly think at the end of the day, it's actually a good message, a good showcase of empathy from the honesty of a man that can back up his words. It's really respectable at the end of the day.
Also, not only that, I'm being under publishers.
I really wish more people were like Joseph Ferris.
I gotta say, how amazing is it gonna be if Joseph Ferris is the one who actually revolutionizes EA to be, just decent people?
I wish
not
Jova,
a microtransaction.
Jova, for as talented as Joseph Ferris is, Jova, I don't think he's a miracle worker.
Yeah, I don't want to fly too close to the sun, and I'm pretty much done.
You were saying, sorry.
The only regret that I have is the only final regret that I have is that I would love to play this game, but I sadly have no to play with.
Well, there's always
well, that's the thing too. Like the only reason I didn't play this with you is because you don't have PS Plus. Because if you were
I know.
Like trust me, too. If you had, I would totally be up for asking. Buy a 1 month plus subscription for like $7, and play this game with me. Trust me, you'll thank me for it.
I mean, I honestly think at the end of the day, you playing with your brother was the best choice. The struggle at the end really represents, combined with what you said about you and your brother having these the relationship that you have growing up. It kind of fits. I honestly think it kind of fits. So props also to your brother, even though I can't thank him personally. Thanks also to him. Anyway, I'm done. Next.
All right.
Yeah, Joe, if you don't mind, you were saying something, Shiri?
Yes, the benefit of being under EA, despite their bullshit, is that they have a lot of money. I mean, considering how well A Way Out did, they'll probably give him a bigger budget.
Oh, yeah.
To do more, you know, he did this with like indie game budget. Like, imagine what he could do with the extra money EA could give him.
Again, it's like that image that they use parodying Iron Man when Undertale came out. In this case, Joseph Ferris did this with $500 in the scraps in a cave or something.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead,
yeah. Wait, allow me. You know, that's the perfect way. Okay, David Cage. Joseph Ferris made this game in the caves of EA Originals on an indie budget for scraps.
Yes.
What's your excuse, a French fry?
Not just that. Not just
you
that.
You have the Sony money backing you and being able to do whatever you want.
Like a talent.
Yeah. I mean,
hold on, Java. Let me respond to you. Well, I am not Joseph Ferris.
Perfect. I think the best way to describe Joseph Ferris is, imagine if you took the good qualities from David Cage and fused that with Hideo Kojima. Like,
kinda. It has also that vibe, considering the tons of movie references.
Yeah,
even the final fight gets to do a fist fight, just like in a Metal Gear game.
Although I'll say, I think the gameplay story segregation here, I think is more balanced.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like, well, the gameplay and story are merged so perfectly.
Well, it's easier to do that because the story in this game is much simpler. But go ahead, Jova.
Basically, okay, you know what? From the very first time I saw this game at EA E3 2017, that was like one of the only good things about E3. I thought it's good, but I thought, I mean, really co-op required? Little did I know, though, like...
And that's where, and for the record, audience, for those who haven't seen it, I was the one who immediately called it right there. I want to do this game, because the idea immediately triggered me saying, that looks like it could be something really interesting, you know?
And you know what? The more we saw of it, the next time we saw more of it was, of course, at the Game Awards that year, where we finally got to meet the man behind it himself, Joseph Ferris, and what a man, what a man. He's definitely honest and he's passionate, because this game has so many things put together. Like, let's start off with this. The variety of gameplay styles. There are so many here. Like, by that logic, you'd think this game would fall under the weight of it all. But you know what is great? Joseph Ferris knows to be simple first before being complex. See, that's the thing. He has all these different gameplay styles, but he simplifies them just enough so that, yes, there's challenge, but you don't have to constantly... It's not like you have to learn a complete new gameplay style to be a master of it. Whereas, say with something like, something like Crash Bandicoot 3, though that was more platformer. The point being is like, well, here, the third-person shooting is simplified enough. It's not like your most complex third-person shooter. The driving controls are simplified enough. Again, the strafing is simplified enough. The cover system is as basic as it gets for the most part. Again, it's a masterful use of the simplicity, and that allows him to, have all these different situations that suit the story. Because that's the thing. While the gameplay suits the story, you can tell he made sure that gameplay wasn't something that felt like an afterthought. It was something that could be adapted perfectly to the story. And that allows for one of the best video game stories. You know what? Not even just video game stories. One of the best stories conveyed ever. Like, here, every action you do matters in some shape or form. Like I said,
Jova. It's one of those. Like I said, Jova. Technically, this story could have been told via a movie or a TV show. It could, but it wouldn't be nearly as powerful as for this method, because the fact that the player himself got to play through all of it and have to literally, like Theo said, pull the trigger that's what makes it even more impactful.
See, this game is amazing for several reasons. First of all, it shows just how great indie games can be without the studio execs calling the shots. Because I can just imagine, there being executive meddling with how the plot would have had to go here or there. Could have happened. Didn't because it was indie. And secondly, I think this shows don't get me wrong, Sony are good at making these kinds of games, but I think this shows the true potential. Like, don't get me wrong, Naughty Dog are good with story-driven games, but this goes above and beyond. It even has different endings, which based off of that. And yes, you have to earn your ending. Oh yeah, you have to earn it right down to shooting the very person who's been helping you this entire journey. And it all makes sense. Again, you do everything. And what helps this game as one that's realistic, like I said, yes, it's realistic, but it remembers that being realistic doesn't mean it doesn't use realism as a reason to handicap players. It uses realism as a means that players actually get to think creatively. Like, sure, there can be mundane stuff, but you can do time waster stuff. That's, pretty much simple. But it's
not even that, Jova. The time wasting stuff. Not even just that, Jova. Unlike the Cage games, the time wasting in this game is actually more elaborate. There's mini games there's an entire mini game where you can literally play piano and guitar just because it's fun. Why not?
and you know what it helps? It helps the bonding sequences. Like Tio said, you may have felt a bond big enough to the point where one of the players may actually give up in the final boss fight because they feel so guilty. Like, that's how effective this feels. I mean, sure, you can craft your own story. Like, you could make it so that, you can't imagine why these guys could stand each other. But if you play to its full content, god dang, it hits you right in the heartstrings. And the great thing is, as a video game, none of it feels wasted because for the most part, you're in control of it. It only takes control away from you strictly when it needs to, which is something a lot of games could learn from this. I mean, it really is amazing. This game isn't that big, but it feels so massive because the world feels so interactive. It's like how Shenmue games back in the old days showed. The more there is to interact with stuff, the more people feel that world is real. Doesn't matter how big or large or wide it is. The actual interactivity is key to it. And holy cow, there is so much detail in this.
Yep.
But here's the thing. I was loving this game up to this point. But this finale, this one part, escalated this game from just being something that's amazing to, holy cow, we need to put this in a museum as an example. Like, this is a benchmark in video game history.
Co-op gaming in particular. Like, this is the standard for co-op gaming right now, as far as I'm concerned. Because because this game is basically, like I said, it's the ultimate co-op game. Like,
I can't speak personally because my experience with co-op has never been as strong, having mostly relied on single player. But I do understand and empathize for all the people, the young ones. Like I said, all the people who grew up with Halo 2 instantaneously will love this. I can tell you that.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. Halo 2 was back when co-op meant something more than just people online screaming at each other. With Halo 2, you did feel that partnership. This feels like a callback to it, but it does the great thing and even ascends beyond it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I always had doubts when I thought, wait, you really need co-op? But now I can see why. This game would never have the effect it feels if it weren't required to have co-op. Like, even if it is some random stranger, like Pedro said, it's a random stranger who you're building trust with as these two avatars. You still will feel that betrayal.
I actually disagree with Teo on one thing. The whole, it fits well that I played with a loved one. And even Joseph Harris himself said that he recommends playing the game on local co-op with the two people right beside each other, and stuff like that. Honestly, I disagree. I think the best way to play this game is with a stranger over the internet, because
I can definitely
because the two characters are strange people who meet because of circumstances, and they have to work together and bond over the course and get to know each other over the course, and that way the betrayal at the end feels a lot more immersive because you yourself, the character playing as Leo, will feel, oh my god, and you will feel just as betrayed and hostile as Leo is because, well, it's a complete stranger who I've been working with and now he betrayed me.
And it really helps that this is a
Theo,
game
your
that...
Tommy Wiseau impression, if you don't mind.
He betrayed me.
How could you love?
He's just a chicken.
But I understand. I guess this is similar to what Journey wanted to try to do. Although Journey tried to approach this in a completely different manner, in a sense, but we didn't even knew who the other player was, nor was important. It was just someone tagging along, and that was literally it.
With Journey, it was more like, about a foreshadowing for what the main plot twist was. This, though, again, this feels incredibly hinging on it, and I can see why, if you play with a stranger, you're pretty much like the characters. And, again, here's a great thing. Because this game is short enough, you can potentially do it in one sitting. Like, we technically did this in parts, but that's because, we stopped here and there. And even still, though, you could technically do this whole game in one sitting. So you can pretty much proceed that journey. In which case, it actually makes you wonder, Pedro, can you actually, literally start in any section of the game with a random stranger as well?
Yes, the checkpoint auto-saving system is pretty generous. Like you feel free to stop at any moment, basically.
Neat. But yeah, back to me talking about the details of this game. And okay, going back to how stuff is simple. The chases, yes, stuff like the car or motorbike chases, those are simple controls. But they remember that there needs to be variation. The branching pathways, they actually take into account what if different characters do this or that. Like, sure, some things are scripted. I mean, at some point, there does come a point where you need to script things. But it feels like they made a challenge for themselves to script as little as possible with this game. It truly is amazing. And let me tell you, I was kind of shocked. I mean, because, okay, yeah, the fight with Harvey did turn out to be the calm before the storm, but they mask it pretty well with how much of a climactic fight it does feel like. To the point where I'm genuinely wondering, wait, how much more could they be? And then the plot twist comes. Again, you've been playing with this player who you've trusted. You have to trust with your life. Like, these two have saved each other's butts more times than we can count. And yet it comes down to this. Vincent was truly a cop. And at the end of the day, Leo's got to get it. Maybe he could have gotten Leo's sentence removed, but that's just not in Leo's character, sadly. And even still, we don't know how much Leo did or how long he was going to be in there for. Yeah. I mean, I can understand why some people would have definitely wanted a third ending. In fact, I myself kind of do, because gosh dang it, I love these characters so much. I would have liked to see a way for them both to survive. Maybe Joseph Ferris did have an idea for that. Maybe he didn't have enough money for it. Maybe it was his vision to force that. But I will say this, though. It definitely does teach the player consequence. Like, I mean, It doesn't do it in an over-glorified way or one that pretty much, lectures you. Like, we've seen plenty of games. Tell us about the consequence of killing enemies. But this one does truly feel like you do learn the consequence. The consequence of Vincent doing all this to get revenge. The consequence of Leo for all his bad actions that landed him in this spot in the first place. Like, that's the thing. If Leo did not turn to a life of crime, he wouldn't be here. And granted, we do know that some of that crime was kind of forced onto Leo himself. But again, there's consequence. And that's the thing. You can't escape that consequence. Like, holy cow. A fun game actually teaching you a lesson in such a heavy-handed yet responsible enough way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, god dang. I'll admit, I shed some tears at the end of that fight. Well, no, you know what? Not just at the end of the fight. As soon as it comes down to the one-on-one between them, that's when I shed tears. Like, and there's so much detail into it. Like, every stage of the fight does matter. Like, I mean, it'll affect how well your player controls how much you have to fight to win. It really is something where choices do matter. Your move.
And if I could just interject, I mean, we talked about the music earlier. In a lot of, like, in other games, it would feel pretentious, but I think the music that plays at the start of that fight perfectly mirrors how a lot of people will probably be feeling.
Not just that, right? My
personal.
It doesn't feel like they're trying to make us feel like sad. It actually goes in tandem with how a lot of people will actually be feeling.
Not just that, right? Like, my personal favorite music cue is the one where they hold hands at the end. Like, That's the one that.
That one was
really...
just the final nail in the coffin. That's like a
Yeah. I mean, the music may not have been the strongest point of this game, but you know what?
Considering the budget, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I mean, the music is not bad. But, okay, it's like this. The music is tailored to pretty much every situation that it needs to be. Sure, that means that they couldn't really go all out with it, sadly, and, it's not the most memorable. But when it needs to be memorable, it is. I'm going to remember that piano piece till the day I die, probably, because of the heavy weight of it all.
Yep.
Wow. There's so much more I could say, but you know what? I'm going to save that for when we do the extras part, because I think I've said enough.
Pedro,
yeah, Pedro, take us out, buddy.
What else can I say that my co-commentators haven't said? This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is a co-op gaming masterpiece. I adore this game. I love everything about it. If playing it for the first time, it's not so much exactly like in 1998 because I already had played Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons before this. But ignoring...
It was made back in 1998.
No. 2013. You'll see what I mean. Let me finish.
Okay.
But playing this game for the first time reminded me a lot of the first time I played Metal Gear Solid back in 1998. Because it feels a lot like... It's one of those cases where I'm playing this game and I'm like, what is this game? Who is this guy, Joseph Fares? Where did he come from? Because remember, it's kind of a similar thing with Metal Gear Solid. The first thing that happened in Metal Gear Solid is, it says right there, a Hideo Kojima game.
Yeah.
So my first thoughts when I finished that game back in 1988, I was, okay, who the fuck is this guy? Where did he come from? And where can I meet him?
And that was just the beginning. Well, not so much the beginning for Kojima, but the rest is history.
And and this one also feels a lot like that, because Kojima, that was literally Kojima's big anvil that he dropped in the industry. By the way, I'm here, bitches. And Joseph Fares, this also kind of feels like his big, by the way, step aside, bitches. Now I'm, like, it's just...
Allow me to introduce myself.
Big dicks back in town.
Pedro, oh my god, you know what I just realized? You know how Joseph Fares went on about FEA? If Hideo Kojima had that level of freedom, how much you want to imagine he would have a field day cussing out Konami, considering how they treated him?
They probably would have fired him.
Yeah.
Would have been probably worth every second, especially when we.
Again, you have to.
And he's using it quite well.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, Jeremy. You have to be careful how you do it. I mean, sometimes even if you are careful how you do it, you're gonna get you blacklisted.
Yeah, does that too. Yeah.
Yeah, getting blacklisted ain't worth anything.
Which just goes to show how much of an amazing Joseph Fares was to avoid that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Dwebs. It's not really worth it in the long term. But anyway, like, I love the gameplay. I absolutely find the gaming incredibly fun. I absolutely love the story. It's incredibly interesting, bold, and takes risks. And the characters are believable human beings who feel like real people. And the game just has an immense, awesome sense of humor and fun about itself. It never, like, you can tell that the developers poured their heart and soul into this, and it really paid off in the end. It's an absolutely brilliant game that really deserved the critical acclaim and the sales it got. Because now all I can know is good job, Joseph. And I can't wait to see more.
I mean, we already know he's making more, and if this was just the start of his company, I don't know if he's actually found stuff that he can refine more, or if he's just got a 6 year
I actually disagree. I actually disagree with you, Theo. I think after this, he probably should not do a co-op game right now, because I feel like he completely did everything that can now be done with co-op at this point. How can he possibly top this?
It's like I said, this game needs to be added to the museum. There are plenty of video game museums, a hall of history, and it needs to be added to the history book.
If I was a video game design teacher, in a class, I was listening to, when it comes to co-op gaming, multiplayer gaming, here, A Way Out. This is the game you have to study and then make an essay about it. Because this is the game you have to look at for how you make a co-op game. But anyway, that's I can maybe elaborate more in the extra, but we've already dragged this too long. See you for the extras part, everybody.
See ya.